A boy appears in the opening of the film. Tadek exits the moving train before arriving at the station, because he was riding without a ticket. While doing this, Tadek is observed by a young woman by the name of Amina, who is with her family at the time. Tadek eventually arrives at his apartment to meet his stepsister Anka. After stopping for ice cream along the way, Anka did not see her when she opened the door. She was waiting for her boyfriend to arrive while wearing clothes. So when she notices Tadek over there, she feels a little awkward. Anka begins getting ready and talks to Tadek briefly. After a while, her boyfriend Andre arrives, and Anka sits in his car while he drives off. Tadek feels intense jealous when he sees all of this, because he has always liked his stepsister, but Anka regarded him as her own brother. Anka then returns home with her boyfriend around midnight, both of them very inebriated. As soon as they arrive, they immediately begin having sexual relations. Tadek is forced to sleep in the restroom. As a result, the following morning, Andre approaches Tadek and informs her that he will soon marry his sister. However, Tadek doesn't focus much on Andre because he despises her. After Andre has left, Anka and Tadek engage in conversation. Anka dislikes visiting this place. Tadek abruptly informs him that he is only staying for the summer and he will return to the aunt's home. The next, Tadek attends his school, and Mina attends this one as well. This is the same girl who first appeared at the start of the film at Tadek's side. He is recognized by Mina, who also began to like Tadek and treat him as her husband. Amina changes out of her jeans after school, because doing so was against the rules in her family. When she returns home, she discovers that she has visitors and learns that Mina is engaged to be married to a local gangster named Ladish. Once Lita's rival gang enters the scene and wrecks her car, Ladish becomes extremely enraged. Anka, on the other hand, depicts Tadek donning a pricey dress. The dress is beautiful, but Anka can only afford to borrow it for a fitting. Tadek is informed by Anka at lunchtime, "You are not permitted to stay, as there is nowhere for you to sleep on this property." Tadek requests that Andre's belongings, which were kept in his room, be removed. Later that evening, Tadek sees some old photographs of Anka wearing a mini dress. The following day, Tadek receives his schoolroom, and Andre has his belongings taken. Tadek befriends Andre's friend, who informs him that the man is married and has 2 kids. Anka already knew all of this when Tadek went to tell her. She then tells Tadek to stay away from her personal life and becomes very irate with her a few days later and realizes Tadek won't be leaving anytime soon, not just for the season. Anka informs him that he must leave because she is aware of Tadek's perception of her. Anka then discovers her underwear in bed. Anka then yells at Tadek to leave the area in a furious manner. Anka, who hasn't made a payment in a while, receives her electricity bill for this month. Outside, the electrician informs him that the house's electricity will be turned off if she does not pay the bill promptly, and after that, by saying that the electrician reaches out to touch Anka. In contrast, Tadek begins to pack his belongings. Even as a child, Anka had sent Tadek to live with her aunt, and as a result, she experienced severe guilt. She therefore refuses to let Tata go this time, and the two of them embrace and begin to cry. The following day, Tadek visits the market and discovers Amina there. After a lengthy conversation, Amina also expresses her desire to wed him. Tadek doesn't take this too seriously, as he sees it as a joke. After that, Anka's boyfriend begins having sexual relations with another girl. Before Tadek returns home, Tadek locks the door outside after realizing this right away, trapping Andre inside with the girl. Anka returns home later, and Andre is apprehended. Anka rejects Andre's attempts to persuade her. She consequently breaks up with Andre, which makes Tadek very happy. Tadek visits Anka's bed that night to offer support before nodding off. Anka, however, orders her to return to her bed. When Tadek returns home from returning some of Andre's belongings, the following day he learns that Andre has many political connections. Thus he learns that their power has been turned off. He finds out that he hasn't paid the bill in several months. After asking Anka about it, Tadek then considers setting up the money. After hearing this then, in order to secure funding, he begins working part-time. Meanwhile, he runs into Amina and tells her that she can help him make money. However, when she tells Tadek something about his family, Mina becomes enraged and walks away. Tadek now begins secretly watching Anka as she changes her clothes at home after returning. Tadek and visits Amina in the gangster-populated colony where she lives. Then he begins to beat like a thief. However, a man arrives just in time to save him and alert the gang that Dan works as a police officer. The gang members then leave him. After hearing this, Tadek then informs Amina that he requires cash. Tadek and Amina go to a building that same night, where they both steal a carpet. They make some money when Amina cleverly sells that carpet in the market the following day for a good price, even so the sum was insufficient to cover the bill. Amina instructs Tadek to meet him an hour later. Amina then returns home. Amina then confides in her family about her desire to study medicine. After hearing this, everyone laughs, and Amina tells her mother about it. She claims, however, that his father is obstinate and will not consent. Following this, Amina takes some of her father's money and gives it to Tadek. Tata claims that he is always with him and that he will never forget this work of his after this. If there is still a need, Tadek puts the bill for the electricity and turns on the light. Anka, who is overjoyed, enters the restroom to take a shower. Tata goes to meet him and even brings his favorite flavor of ice cream. Anka then resumes bathing after having ice cream for a while. Then Amina calls Tata and tells her to come downstairs because she has an important conversation to have. However, Tata claims that he is currently very busy, can't speak any longer. Having heard this, after this, Amina feels awful and returns to her home. Tadek enters the bathroom and enters the bathtub after taking off his clothes. Upon seeing this, Anka is furious and tells Tadek to leave, but Tadek disagrees, and after becoming enraged, Anka herself gets out of that bathtub. The following evening, Anka visits Tadek and informs her that he will not be staying here because he desires intimacy with her rather than being with her. With this, Tata claims he has always loved her and that he is now unable to remain silent. Anka considers Todd's viewpoint for a while before accepting it, and the following day, she has a sexual encounter with Tadek. Tadek is overjoyed when he spots Andre in the mall purchasing the exact dress that Anka admired. Tadek realizes that Anka must have been the intended recipient of this dress, so he flees and returns home, while also damaging his doorbell. He informs Andre that Anka isn't home after he arrives. Andre had zero faith in him. He therefore knocks on the door, but gets no response. Andre comes back the following day, and Anka Tadek must purchase a ticket for himself to an adult film. However, he discovers Andre sitting in the house when he gets home. He discovers that Anka has forgiven him, and that they are once more together. Their Tadek is furiously upset by this, and he threatens to kill Andre or commit suicide before telling Anka to stay out of their relationship. Anka and Andre attend a large party. The minister granted permission for this party to be held. At the party, this minister dances with Anka before beginning to inappropriately touch her. Anka comes to Andre and shares her regret over this with him, and Andre disregards this, since the man intended to ordain Andre as a minister as well. After hearing this, Anka becomes extremely enraged, and she then leaves to use the restroom. Andre follows Anka there and orders him to go to the hotel with the minister and have sex with him, but Anka refuses and orders him to return home. Andre becomes enraged by this and pulls Anka's hair, but he soon becomes calm and tells Anka that they will both go home together. The minister was already seated in the taxi when Anka boarded it ahead of everyone. Anka enters the room and slaps Andre the minister, and comments that it won't be a big deal for him to have one sexual encounter with her. After observing this, due to her outrage over this, Anka then storms out of the room while verbally abusing the minister. Then we find out that Tadek is also at the party and is silently observing everything that is happening. Then, after Anka gets back home, she sobs when she gets home, and Tadek isn't even allowed to open the door. Then begins to cry there. On the other side, we can see that Arena is entering into this union with Ladish. The rival gang members arrive, set them on fire, and then flee. One of them was a friend of Andre's, and when he encounters Tadek while fleeing, he informs Tadek that he is on his way to burn the marriage down. Tadek beats Andre's friend angrily because he recognizes that it is referring to Mina's wedding. He then walks over to a spot and begins to sob. Mila, who fled her marriage, then joins them. Amina is told by Tadek that they can flee together and get married if he so chooses. Regarding this, Mina claims that she would have gone with Tadek if he had paid attention to her yesterday, and now she despises him. After saying this, Mina gives Tadek one final kiss before returning to marry Ladish. After returning home, Tadek sees that Anka has packed her belongings and tells Tadek to leave. After giving Mina some Ladish, Tadek now begins packing his bag and walking away. The remaining ice cream is then brought out by Anka, who wanted Tadek to finish it with him before leaving. As a result, they both begin eating ice cream.